And we are live, guys. How you doing today, Clyve?
Good, Chris. How about yourself?
Not too bad, not too bad. Just a little exhausted from work last night, but other than that, not too bad. Can't complain. What
Good.
what watch you wearing today?
Um, Actually, I'm wearing the Apple Watch again.
Hmm. Okay, I'm actually wearing the Singularity watch right now, getting more of a feel for it. So, but yeah, part of today's topic was what watch in our collection gets the most wear time, and how you doing, Six Killer? By the way, how you doing, Peter? For me personally, I know it'll become as a surprise, but it just because of comfortability and ease of wear and what I do for work, I actually wear my all metal G-Shock probably the most out of all my watches. What about you?
Well, likewise. I mean, because especially if I've got a heavy court day, if I've got to take a communication or someone has texted me or whatever, it's just so easy just to look over and read the communication on your wrist rather than pulling your phone out.
Yeah, definitely. So
So
you wear the Apple Watch a lot out more than any others.
exactly.
What would you say comes in a close second? Probably the Young Hands.
Right now, the young hands, or
That's just about
sometimes,
it.
yeah, or that Hamilton. Sometimes that the number two spot does rotate quite a bit.
Okay. Okay.
So,
How you doing, Howdy from Texas? How you doing, bud?
uh,
But yeah, like I said, just because of what I do for work and everything, it's just easier for me to throw the G-Shock on. Now I do wear the Islander a good bit too. I swap out between the Islander and the Hamilton a little bit more too, but mainly wear the G-Shock a lot. And then when I'm off, I wear the Alpinist a lot. 'Cause I don't want to bang up the Alpinist at work. I want to kind of keep it kind of decent shape.
well, the news that everyone's, of course, on the what we just call ourselves the Watch Freaks now instead of the Cardinals channel or Cardinal Chat. But what's being a buzz there is the fact that Hodinkee and Crown and Caliber are merging, or I think technically Hodinkee is acquiring Crown and Caliber.
Yeah, I didn't. Like I said, I've been asleep most of the day, unfortunately, but I didn't hear anything about that. That doesn't surprise me though. Hodinkee trying to monopolize the market even more, huh?
Well, yeah, because let's face it, Watchbox and Gutberg, I think.
Mm.
Yeah, Hodinkee and Crown and Caliber together. Because, well, when you also Richmond has acquired Watchfinder, and like I said, and Gutberg used to, believe it or not, just acquired Tim Masso, his Watchbox, so it kind of makes sense.
Hmm.
I can almost see everyone going in this direction.
Yeah, yeah. You think Hodinkee will start acquiring more?
We'll start what?
Do you think they'll start acquiring more companies?
Possibly.
Because didn't they just get like a huge capital or something? I saw like a huge loan, like 20 something $1 million or 30 something $1 million, like this last year.
Yeah,
If I remember correctly, they just
spending
got
it
like
ain't
a huge loan.
something along those lines. Yeah, or but spending is not the problem. Paying it back is the problem.
Hmm. I don't think Gutberg's got to worry about that. Do you?
No,
I think they've got enough on their own standing.
no.
So,
See, and what I think, yeah. No,
what about the blanket? Do you still have rights to the blanket?
I still have rights to the blanket. You can contact me about the blanket.
Did you trademark the blanket yet?
Oh shit.
you know,
So
you got to trademark that, right?
in the U.S., European Union, and also China,
Uh-huh.
yeah, because China they only respect their own patents; they don't respect anyone else's. And by China, I mean China, communist China,
Mm.
People's Republic. So
But yeah, that's crazy though. Like I said, I didn't even hear anything about that until you just told me right before we
well,
come on.
yeah, and I can, like I said, I can see everyone moving that direction. It's kind of like, well, just like the watch companies themselves, like two or three Can go
I
on.
mean, if you think about it, it kind of makes sense for Hodinkee because Crown and Caliber will be able to source a lot more watches for him to sell.
And when it comes to like online magazines or websites, they're probably the leaders.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to like online media, they're a player, not the player.
Yeah. And Crown and Caliber, I've never heard anything but good things about Crown and Caliber because I've known a couple people that dealt with them. My buddy George that's been on the live streams before, he bought his Seamaster through them, and they had an issue with the crown or I can't remember what. He'll be able to come in and tell at some point, but he had an issue with it, so and he had them send it back in for service or whatever. They had no problem doing that. And then Random Rob just bought a Tudor from them, and he had an issue with it, and they returned it. I guess because it wasn't as described in the pictures or whatever.
Right.
So, I mean, hopefully that doesn't affect their customer service. I'm sure it wouldn't. I'm sure that you think they'll probably have the same people running it and all that. It'll just be owned by a different name.
Yeah, exactly. So, and like I said, so a lot of our locals around here use Crown and Caliber and love them.
Okay. Now, I wonder if they'll still have the same people on. You know, I'm talking about the same 2 or 3 different guys that are on their Crown and Caliber channel on YouTube. You think they'll change that?
They've only got 2 or 3 guys. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like they're trying to get anyone else. It's like, please let someone catch on as much as Tim Mosso.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen though anytime soon. Tim Mosso is a kind of phenomenon, I guess you could say, right?
He's kind of a what?
Phenomenon, I guess you could say. But yeah, I'd say he's kind of a once in a lifetime kind of thing there.
Exactly.
And I've compared him, which I don't know. You're kind of into cars, but you know, Motor Trend Carcraft.
Yeah.
You know Steve Magnate.
Not really. No.
He's the guy with the glasses, middle-aged guy. He can rap. Like he's done a lot of Barrett Jackson auto auctions and stuff like that. He's like Tim Mosso, but with cars. Like he can rattle off like VIN numbers, whatever else. You know, the matching motor number for Mopar or whatever. I kind of compare Tim Mosso to Steve Magnate for the car hobby, though.
So, now, what do you think? Who else? Who else might? Because Hodinkee is trying to be all things at once. And God, I mean, love-hate relationship. Love their articles. I actually think they're very good arbiters of taste.
And their watches, even though I despise the limited editions and all that, they do come out with some good releases, I feel like. And their market is a little, I don't like their marketing, but I do agree with some, you know, a lot of the watches they do release, I do like the looks of them.
But what gets me about them is they're trying to be everything to everyone. I don't think you could do that. Are they basically a fan site? Do they cover watch news and opinion, or are they watch sellers? And it's like I don't think you can be all of them.
Yeah, that's it's not really good journalism, I guess you could say. It's not I would say it's not unbiased journalism once you start selling like that, which they've been selling for years, but you know what I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
Like I don't think you can like give an honest take on a watch. Like, you know,
Unbiased.
somebody like even like me or you would like on our channel and be like, hey, you know, yeah, they pay me X amount of money to rep their brand, but then again, I can see like, oh well, I don't like this about the watch. They can't be.
And see, yeah, and like say Watchbox, for instance, or Gutberg, they can do something, they can talk about, they can give their opinions, but you understand at the end of the day they're selling watches.
Yeah,
and they may not be talking about a watch they're selling at that moment, but they can still talk about it because it's like, you know, if we don't have one now, we know we'll be selling one next week or next month.
Yeah, exactly. Just like Fed and John over at Del Rey, they do the same thing. I mean, they plug your channel, but I mean, you know, they're selling the watches.
Yeah,
you know. So I wonder if they won't be bought out by Hodinkee next.
So I don't know. It's too much like a NAMBLA meeting, if you ask me. Especially when they're together. Or I could. can you see Roman Sharf? I mean, Roman Sharf actually is, and again, he's also another very good example because, but you'll notice his YouTube channel is his name, but it's not Luxury Bazaar.
Yeah.
So that's a little.
Yeah. See, he's always been kind of upfront too, though. Like he does, he's selling watches, but then again, at the same time, like I've said this before. Of course, I'm kind of biased because I've dealt with him before, but I would choose him over Joma Shop because he's actually, you see a face for the business. You know what I'm saying?
True.
And like Joma Shop, you don't know who's running a Joma Shop at all.
Well, you really don't know who's running Luxury Bazaar.
Yeah, true.
I mean, it's just like Tim from What's Your Style. And they were talking about that because Eric, when What's Your Style, he left that channel and then became Watch Eric or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things he was talking about is that he was the public face for the channel on that jeweler, CRM Jewelers, but he wasn't the main owner.
Mm.
So,
gotcha.
Again, with Roman, like I said, so his channel is his channel presumably, and doesn't belong to Luxury Bazaar.
Mm.
But on the other hand, if it said Luxury Bazaar, I would trust that a little bit.
They actually have their own separate YouTube channel, I believe, where they just show the watches Luxury Bazaar. I think they don't do like review or anything. They just show the actual watch or whatever.
Yeah. And he might say occasionally, well, hey, it's just like, unless you start, finish, and throw it a couple of times in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure just from talking to him that he's the one running the channel because I've set him up with some people that I know.
Mm-hmm.
So he might be doing some acquisitions in the future. I don't want to say too much.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure he is actually the one running it, or one of the major people running it anyways. He might have like silent business
partner. The channel or the shop?
The shop too.
Okay.
He might have like a silent business partner or something like that, but I'm pretty sure he's the one, calling the shots and all that. So, but
a silent business partner, it's a silent business partner because they don't really have to do any talking. All the silent business partner has to do is say, you should go.
I gotcha.
Okay. Odeka reminds me of Apple. They weren't the first. They just added the fit and polish to take it to the next level. You mean fit? I think the phrase you're looking for is fit and finish, but yes.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, and of course, yeah, and oh God, I had so many people getting my fucking nerves. I was on when you just got back and you're sleeping, and of course everyone was saying, "Tell us about the Archie. Tell us about the other channel. Why'd you guys leave the other channel?" I'm like, God damn it, I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, and then literally the other people coming on right afterwards saying, all you do is talk about that other channel. I'm like, you motherfuckers.
Yeah. Man.
Have me pull my hair out.
Oh.
Yeah, I think I can see this going more and more in that direction. And here's why, because that's not going to be, and that's YouTube's fault.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube doesn't want to pay anything. Used to be, and I try to say, a couple of the major channels, unless you've got major Mondo viewers, they don't want to pay anything. As a matter of fact, yeah. Matter of fact, what they want to do is they want to take money. They want you to raise money for them. So that's why they're all for super chats, because they can take a large chunk as a processing fee.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what that's going to do is that's going to, that's going to drive a lot of people out.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
What's going on, JCB? How you doing, bud?
Yeah. Oh, I was going to say, I wonder if I should hand what's his name.
Hey, James. How you doing, bud?
Yeah. So I wonder what James thinks about. I wonder how many pieces James has acquired from Crown and Caliber or Hodinkee.
I don't know. You want to send him you got his info? You want to send him the link?
No, I'll send it to Blue Shirt. No, I don't have James's info.
Gotcha. But yeah, that's crazy. It makes you wonder how many other companies they're going to try to acquire now.
Well, and I think it's going to be like the Watch Cup. I think it's going to be just like the watch companies, to where most of them are going to be acquired by like probably just a handful of conglomerates.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you got to give the guy behind Hodinkee credit, because he built kind of basically an empire from the ground up on his own. So I respect that, but I mean, at the same time, it's like it's getting to be too much.
Yeah, but Ariel Adams got screwed. Ariel, all he did was follow the blueprint by Ariel Adams, and yeah.
James is saying not too many from Hodinkee, to be honest.
Okay.
I guess are you kind of turned off by Hodinkee's marketing, James?
Or is it Hodinkee, or is it like for noobs? Is it for noobs in the watch game?
That and what? Probably hipsters.
Yeah. I'd love to read. I wonder if I could read some of the comments. It's actually quite it's wonderfully bitchy about it. I mean, they're literally talking about like I said, bearded soy boys talking about toxic masculinity without without any sense of irony.
Oh,
I'm not going to say who said that, Tenzil, but because that would be wrong. But it's funny as hell.
Man.
But yeah, that's why I think it's going, because I think the industry is going that way. I think YouTube is pushing people in that direction.
Mm-hmm. And you think it's because YouTube's a lot of YouTubers are pushing only one or two certain brands?
A little bit. Who I think, I actually think our boy Rich from What's on the Wrist. I think he's planning to. The way I think he's going is, I think he's positioning himself to be the Hodinkee of micro brands.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, even doing micro lux with Ariel Adams, that's some serious star power right there.
Yeah. And then James, that's what I was talking about earlier about the private equity.
Oh my!
I think he I can't remember how much it was, but it was like $20 or $30 million, something like some crazy amount. I think he got earlier, that like last year or something, or like the end of the year, wasn't it, Clyve?
Yeah, that's interesting. He buys.
But yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. That's why he bought on. Huh. I think well, you're kind of jumping around the comments, so I have no idea what he's talking about.
Yeah. And then he buys collaborations off Revolution because he's friends with Weco. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
He seems like he's a pretty cool guy.
Unless you meet him in person.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is, though, okay, I've not met him in person, but I know someone who has met him in person, And unless you've got a collection or unless you've got as much clout going as James Arthur, what I have heard is that he's not terribly warm or forthcoming.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Trade shows will all end online, even for micro brands, and the more small independent brands get involved.
Right. But, like I said, so, I think Rich, come to think of it. But good question. Would love to hear Chris's opinion on the
site. I think it was this one here, I think. Or no, wait.
JCB.
Yeah, this one here, I think. Manual wine. Would that you're probably more experienced in that than I am, Clyve.
There's trade-offs. There's always trade-offs. And generally, what you'll do is you'll either learn to live with the time issue, with the power reserve, and it's just like 48 hours. So, like the second morning you pick it up, you put it on, or the second night you take it off, you'll wind it beforehand. So, yeah, it's not like you sit there and say, "Oh my God, it is." It's not like you're winding a little knob on the watch on your wrist. You're not working in a coal mine.
My dad actually did that for years.
Worked in a coal mine?
Yeah.
Oh, damn! That is some freaking work.
Yeah, he did that for about almost 20 years.
Yeah. Okay, what am I? Thanks, James. What am I right about? I hear that so. I hear that so infrequently. Infrequently, but be sure.
You want to make sure write it down that you're right.
Exactly. I was right about shit. What was I right about? That it's all going to go in that direction, I think, or that Rich could be the next. Is positioning himself to be the next.
Which I like Rich. He seems like he's pretty cool.
He is incredibly cool. He is incredibly down to earth.
Pretty knowledgeable guy.
Yeah, and also, like I said, so if you're good enough to where like freaking Errol Adams hangs out with you, I mean, come on.
About Wico, he said he thinks you're right about Wico.
Oh, okay.
Which I had of course DM'd him, which he probably gets thousands of DMs on Instagram about possibly doing a live stream because you know how I network everybody. But he, of course, never answered, never gave me the time of day. But I mean, that doesn't mean anything because, like I said, he's got thousands of people probably DM him. So
right. Well, and who of us is not? I'd like to think I'm not too terribly status impressed, but who knows?
Yeah.
But
how's it going, man? How you doing, bud?
Yeah, I know someone that. Well, I'm not going to say who it is. I'm not going to say it is, but actually, yeah.
Somebody who's met him.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Okay. But yeah, rotation. But like I said, that's kind of crazy. It makes me wonder what acquisitions they're gonna buy next. You think they're gonna start getting into micro brands and stuff, trying to buy those out?
It could be, but
they probably don't have some of them probably like Boulder, some of the bigger companies probably have a lot of buying power or a lot of net worth, but a lot of the micro brands probably don't. And even Boulder and all, and they probably don't have the big like net worth like a big, of course, like Seiko or somebody.
Right.
So Hodinkee could probably start buying out micro brands too.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, you do have some valid points there, but on the other hand, Microlux is kind of Rich's baby, and I don't know if he has the capital, but sometimes I think he's been putting in certainly sweat equity.
And it was pretty big. I mean, of course, before the pandemic hit, there was when they actually had didn't they have the show like in Chicago, LA?
Right.
Yeah, and I know Chicago. I know Rob had actually went to one of the shows in Chicago. Like he had a good bit of YouTubers actually going to the shows at one point. The bigger YouTubers.
Right. See, I don't know. All right. I'm yeah. There are a lot of attorneys I do like. The attorneys I see in the courthouse, I like. Most of them, yes. Even prosecutors. There's except some more than others, definitely. But sometimes though, you can tell the big guys. I mean, the guys working at the big firms, and you can just smell prideful, but almost invisible. Is almost it's such a unique set of talents to survive at a big law firm, but you can almost prideful and invisible at the same time. As a matter of fact, I was talking with one of the municipal judges about a matter, and one of these high dollar people came in, and just the way she was almost trying to treat the municipal judge. It's like, I don't care how much, I don't care which firm you're with, I don't care what your position in that firm you have, I don't care how much you make, but in that little courtroom, that little judge wearing that little blue robe is the law of the land. Period.
Yeah.
So don't just think go in there and if you're super lawyer and she knows you're super lawyer, that's one thing. That means you've kind of earned it. But just to go in there and just say, well, I'm working for, bastard motherfucker.
Yeah.
PLLC doesn't necessarily mean that you get that right transferred over. And just literally, and after this person left, me and the judge were looking at each other and just laughing, at the whole thing.
And Peter C's right. That's just with everything. There's good and bad.
Yeah.
Just like with my work, I mean, I've got some managers that are big a-holes, and I've got some really cool managers, And then James is saying he'd involve all the online guys.
True. See, the trouble is, if you're really if you're into vintage, what's really the point? That's where my real passion lies. So I don't know how much of I don't know how much involvement or how much use I would be to something like that. I would almost like to be, though. Now, one of my favorite things, frankly, and a lot of people will hate on me for this one, is there for a while you had TGV and Frederico and Christian sitting on a couch and talking about watch topics. I love that. Because and you could tell they rotated among their channels. So one person wouldn't get all the views or whatever, or preeminence. And of course, Frederico would be coming at it from more of a retail perspective. Christian would be coming at it from a vintage, from the viewpoint of a vintage guy, and TGV. I can't remember what the hell he was. Quite frankly, I found the least interesting. But talking about it's almost like seeing not exactly like seeing the blind men describing the elephant, but just the way they would come at something from different perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the things I loved.
Yeah. And that was back before they got too big.
Yeah. Well, their egos got so big and they start tripping over their dicks. Even out the value. Yeah. Well, yeah, because I agree with you perfectly. What I like about vintage, though, there is still room for discernment, and knowledge to be factors in acquiring a piece, where it's not just all exclusively a fucking money game.
Yeah. You buy what you like.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we're going on about half an hour. Unfortunately, I got to start getting ready for work here.
Oh, okay.
Making my lunch and all that fun stuff.
Well, and Daniel, here's the thing. Oh, I might have to. God, I wish you hadn't have said that, because I also find that stuff interesting myself.
Yeah.
Geez, because I actually have a few war watches, which I think are tremendously interesting, and I think these are pieces of horological history that are going to start becoming quickly unavailable. All right. Well, anyway, thanks for having me on, Chris.
Thanks for coming on, Clyve. Maybe we'll get back with you guys tomorrow evening again before work.
All right.
So, all right. Later, guys. Thanks, everybody, for joining in the comments. Thanks for coming in, Clyve.
Bye,
Appreciate
Chris.
it, guys. Later.